Hello everyone, we are the Dodsons. I am Joshua.
Hi, I'm Katie. Hi, I'm Bethany.
I'm Deborah.
Hi, Anya.
Guys.
Hello.
So this is week number 1 of premarital classes. It is 6 weeks. So every week when we get home, we are going to try to sit down and do like a little overview of what we learned so it can help someone else that maybe not have it available to them to take these classes themselves. So you guys can learn through YouTube.
Or so we can go back and look at ourselves and see what our state of mind was.
Yeah.
So that we can remember
Keep it
this
up.
better. Yeah, keep doing it.
Yeah, for sure.
So this week we announced the class. They kind of talked a little bit about what it is. They talked about what's supposed to come first in your life and what's supposed to come second. And they also, we talked about what strongholds were, like a stronghold, like a fort, things that you build up intentionally or unintentionally, and they become something that's very difficult to break down, very difficult to get past, to get inside of, to understand even. Strongholds that are built from your childhood on. Then we talked about soul ties.
Which I had never heard of.
Yeah, soul
Had
ties
you heard of
is
that?
new to me. Yeah, and it also kind of seemed like strongholds too. Like it was kind of similar.
Yeah.
But the soul ties were like previous relationships that you had can lead to expectations that are unspoken to your
I
partner.
wish that like maybe I would have went to this class before I got in a relationship with you, because I think it would have made the relationship I'm in now better. Does that make sense?
It does.
Like I wish I would have went as a single person, because a lot of it, or at least this week, a lot of it was like self-reflection. It wasn't much about a relationship reflection, at least not this week.
It wasn't even that. It was just understanding the situation. It wasn't even like fixing it. It was just understanding that there might be a problem, understanding there might be something that you want to change, and then asking for God's help to help you change that and help you to cleanse it. So what we did was we wrote down let you go first. You go with this.
What did I write down? What?
So some of the soul ties they talk about, so we can understand what soul ties are. The ones that affected me and Deborah the most were relational soul ties. When they talked about you have expectations that are based on how the relationship was,
Yeah.
how the relationship went, that made a lot of sense to me. And like, or even the opposite, like if something you hated about a relationship and you disliked it, then it happens in your new relationship and it might not be happening the same way or as often or equally, but you immediately respond negatively to that situation without giving the new person a chance.
Yeah.
Because you already know you hate that.
I don't think a lot of that happens in our relationship. The only time I can think of is when we were at your company getaway for manager and wife trip, and I was nagging you, and so you called me someone else's name.
Yeah, I remember that.
And you were like, I was like, don't call me her name. And he was like, oh, I'm sorry. She used to always nag at me like that when we were married. So like, I just did it. And I was like, I was like so offended and so mad. And he just did it because like, it just came out of his mouth. Like he, like.
Yeah, it was like a soul tie. That actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
It wasn't even intentional.
And that was like the only time that's ever happened. That was the only time like any of that. And he was like, well, like for a second, I really thought, he was like, oh, that sounds like something she would say. Like, I'm sure she said that before. And so this has been one of the best relationships I've been in. Not always, like sometimes it's really bad. But you like surpassed all my expectations for you. Especially in the beginning. So you like just flew out of the water.
I'd say the same thing for you though, like you know. But I'm different in my relationship in the sense that one of the things that I wrote down to cleanse or get rid of was like I'm pretty distant. Like I don't like having to share my business and talk about everything, and I like my me time. Maybe a little too much. And so that was one thing I wrote down to try to cleanse. I don't know I don't know if it's a stronghold. I guess it would be a stronghold. And we talked about how, when they talked about how your childhood affects you, like some things, some kids see one thing and they know for sure it's not going to happen in their life.
Yeah.
But there's some other things the kid sees and it just changes their worldview before they're even capable of understanding it's changed their worldview. Like their worldview is just changed.
Yeah. It's just like almost permanent. Like you had no choice. Like you didn't choose it, it chose you type thing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So they wanted us to see in ourselves this week, just in ourselves, like not to our spouse or anything, your frame of mind and how you react in good situations, which I think in good situations we're good. Like even if our kids are being crazy, even if we're tired, even if we're worried about a bill, even if we haven't seen each other in a while, I think in like regular good situations are really good. And then to see yourself in a bad situation. And when we're going through something bad within ourselves, I think it changes everything. I think it changes how I work at work. It changes how I deal with the kids. It changes like my whole mood for everything that I do throughout that day. And I guess it's like a super bad thing because it doesn't want like views or other influences to get into how we deal, like how we react in good or bad situations.
What I took from that part of the conversation was they talked about being proactive instead of reactive.
Mm-hmm.
When things are good, well, I have like no notes. When things are good, are you being proactive in your relationship to build it and make it stronger? Or are you waiting till there's a problem and then reacting to the problem to fix it? Being proactive, like Josh said up there, complimenting his wife, that was proactive because there was no trouble, there's no problems. Obviously they're teaching a marriage class, so they got something figured out at least. They can get along good enough to start a class. So he was being proactive, talking about proactive action. Because that is something that I definitely struggle. I'm very good at reacting to situations and fixing situations, but I struggle being proactive.
And making sure there's not a situation.
And that's just me in general. That's not me in relationships. That's just me at work, me at home, me with my kids, me in my relationship, you know, me with God. It's all the same. Like it's all reactive.
And I'm opposite. I'm really bad at reacting. I'm horrible at reacting because I feel like I've done so much to not make this problem happen. So like now that there's a problem, I don't want to be around it. Like I did my job to not make it happen. Now it's here, and like not always because of someone else. Like I'm sure I've done things to cause problems, like obviously. But like no, I've done enough to not have a problem that now that the problem's here, like I wipe my hands clear of it and I just leave it alone. But that's where he steps in and reacts to fix it because I've already tried to not make it a problem. Like in my head, I don't know, maybe I'm super wrong. But
So to wrap it up, we talked about 3 things that why do strongholds stay strong and why do soul ties stay tied? And the 3 things that lead to it is weak focus, weak faith, and weak follow through. Without one of those 3, if you don't have all 3, you have none of them. Right? You can have all the focus in the world and all the faith in the world,
but not follow through.
but if you don't follow through with what you're talking about, what you're wanting to do and what you're wanting to change, there's no benefit, there's no gain. There's a momentary gain, and then it's gone because you didn't follow through. Whereas if you have all the faith and all the follow through in the world, but you're focused in the wrong place, you know, you're doing great things, but it doesn't matter because it was focused in the wrong direction. So, and the same thing goes with faith as well. If you have, you know, strong focus and strong follow through, but you don't believe, then where are you? Nowhere.
Exactly. So if you are taking this class with us, or with us
Sure.
through YouTube, anything that you see as a stronghold that's holding you back, or a soul tie that's holding you back, we want you to just write them all down and throw the paper away. In our class that we had, they put it in a red cup of bowl of water to demonstrate blood, because obviously they didn't have blood. And after that, you're just supposed to get rid of it. And it's like the first step. Like, obviously you're not going to change overnight and be like this whole new different person that you've never been before. That's not realistic. But knowing what it was, and knowing that now, like, it's not only in your hands, like, now you can give it up. So if you're doing it with us, go ahead and write them down. It's completely up to you. Like, no one else is going to see it. You're just going to throw it away. And we'll see what happens next week. Next week I'll be here solo. Maybe with a bunch of kids. Maybe all 3 of them.
Yeah, solo, yeah.
So I will see you guys next week. This guy will be on vacation in Tahoe.
Boys trip.
So have a good time, guys. Enjoy week 1. Bye.